Okay. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the TheKempire Daily and TheKempire Radio YouTube channels. And we're live on Facebook. And I'm live on TikTok right now. Oh, hey, Laura, my gorgeous soulmate. I love that. For those that are on my TikTok, head on over to my YouTube channel just because it's going to be a little bit easier for me to communicate with you guys. And I want you to call on in. Call in, share your thoughts on the Oprah interview with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. I have plenty of notes, but I'm sure there are things that I didn't even think about that you guys are going to bring up during this conversation. Let's talk about it. I'm ready to go. All right, welcome to the TheKempire Daily and TheKempire Radio YouTube channels, and shout out to all my friends and family on the Facebook, on the TheKempire Facebook. If you haven't followed me on Facebook, everything is TheKempire. It's usually associated with me. TikTok, head on over to the TheKempire Radio and TheKempire Radio and TheKempire Daily YouTube channel so you can join the conversation. I'm going to get off of here. Just head on over there. We're already live. I already have a couple of people in the background ready to get on air. I see you guys. You didn't. Bella said she didn't watch it. It's all right. We're going to talk about it. If you didn't watch it, we're going to fill you in on what happened during this Oprah interview. TikTok, thank you for watching. Head on over to my YouTube channel. Link is in my IG bio. So head there. Thank you. All right. YouTube. First of all, so Oprah had the interview of the year. Okay, let's just say of the year. We won't say of the century. But as you know, they've been releasing clips from this interview all week, and so much was revealed. Even things that we didn't think might be revealed was revealed. And I want to talk all about it. And if I'm missing anything, I want people to call in and share your thoughts. I will be posting a link in the comment section. For those that are on my TheKempire Daily YouTube channel, I've pinned it to that conversation. Head on over there. Okay, let's just start from the beginning. So there were some stipulations about this interview. A lot of people had thoughts in regards to, what is Prince Harry and Meghan doing? They're moving to the States. They left the royal family. They chose not to have, titles for Archie. There were a lot of rumors. And in this interview, it's revealed that a lot of the things that we thought was something, the making of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, really was the creation of the institution, or AKA the firm. Look, we'll break down what exactly the firm is, but a lot of things came out. If you'd like to share your thoughts on tonight's interview, head on over to the link that I posted in the chat. I'll post it again so you can see. I want to hear your thoughts on this interview. Let me just get these. So before we even get into that, hold on. I have to say, I am happy for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle because they have been able to find peace in a situation that really seems like it was really hard living in. I don't know how they did it, but I'm glad they were able to do it with a lot of sacrifices, not just the loss of titles, but the loss of security, the loss of financial stability, all of those elements. I see we have someone in the chat. Okay, I'm going to add Shantae.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, Shantae, what is going on? Hold on, okay. Shantae, what's going on?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, Sold in DMV. Is this my girl, Sold in DMV on TikTok?
It's your homegirl.
What's going on?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I want to hear your thoughts. For those that are in the waiting room, just don't go anywhere. I'm going to bring everyone on. I want to hear everyone's thoughts. Shantae, what is your initial reaction to this new interview?
So when he said that his father and his brother were trapped,
Mm,
that was very telling, because if you remember in The Crown how Charles was acting very bratty
yes.
because he couldn't marry Camilla and he didn't want to be married to Diana, and he wound up choosing Diana as a result of it. And that was very telling when Harry said that, because it says to me that that was somewhat of a projection that Harry is doing the very thing that Charles wished he could have done,
Mm,
that he
mm.
wasn't, that he didn't do. So
But
there's
you
a bit
know,
of pushback and a lot of regret that all those missing years probably. And I think deep down, he's probably proud of his son, even though they've shaken things up a bit. But that was a projection, I think, of what Charles wished he could have done, that Harry
mm,
was able to do it.
most definitely. You know, we're going to get back to Prince Charles, because Prince Charles, who I thought was a decent human being, I'm starting to think that he's not as decent as we
Mm-mm.
needed him to be, especially after everything that he's gone through. But sometimes people end up doing things, that they end up being the abuser after being abused. You know what I
Right.
mean?
That whole family is on code. That's what it is. And Charles, like I said, he was brought up, raised, and bred to be on code no matter what.
Mm,
Even though, like I said, he wanted to be the one to marry Camilla, but no matter what, he stayed on code and he had that tunnel vision. They don't know any better.
yeah, I see. Raquel says Harry made sure to take his wife and kids and run.
Hmm.
But you know what it is? Let's first of all rewind back and remember. Shantae, is that the TV on in the background?
Yeah, let me turn it down. I'm sorry.
No, 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 no problem. I just want to make sure everyone's able to hear you clearly.
Yeah.
Let's just rewind a little bit. Remember that Prince Harry and Prince William were kids when they lost their mother at the hands of media scrutiny, and some people allege, the institution and the firm might have been behind it. Look, we can't confirm or
Hmm.
deny that. However, we have to remember that they experienced this at such a young age. And for Harry to see something very similar happening with his wife and soon to be the mother of his child at the time,
Yep.
that had to be, first of all, the PTSD. He didn't get therapy after he lost his mother. They don't believe in that stuff, allegedly.
And his grandmother was very cold about it.
And that's the thing, a lot of them, even Meghan and Prince Harry, they really made the Queen look nice in this interview. However, as they say, the fish always stinks from the head, and she is the head. You're not telling me that there are other people in the firm or the institution that are making these decisions without her okay.
Yeah, or pushing her to put up a certain facade.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they somewhat push her a little bit.
Well, I mean, look, there's a lot I want to discuss. Let me just bring on Virginia. Virginia, welcome to the TheKempire Radio and TheKempire Daily YouTube channels. How are you? Oh, wait, let's unmute
Her
your mic.
mic is off.
Yeah. Virginia, we
She
got
needs to unmute yourself. There
there
she
we go.
goes.
Virginia, what's going on?
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you.
Okay, I just got finished watching it. Am I surprised? No, because there was an interview with somebody before they got married, and they say the reason why they're called blue bloods, or the reason why they called themselves blue bloods, was because the skin was so pale that you could see the blue veins.
Wow.
Okay, that reeks of racism.
Mm-hmm.
Puritanism. Yeah.
Yes, I was just like, wow. I saw that, and I was just like, okay, yeah, that speaks volumes right there. And then the Queen's cousin came out and said all kinds of nasty things about Meghan Markle. What's her Michael something? She's like the Queen's cousin, and said all
Was
kinds
that
of
the one
nasty
that wore
stuff.
that brooch?
Yes,
You remember that? That's yeah.
Oh.
That was one of the
Yes.
first things I remember.
See, this is exactly why I love when you guys come on and share thoughts, because there are things that I miss.
Mhm.
This is great. Some of the things, if we could just backtrack just a little bit from the very beginning of the interview. And as I said, I took lots of notes. I just want to confirm that Meghan confirmed with Oprah that no question was off the table. And this was not a paid interview, because, out in the media, they're going to say, Meghan and Prince Harry were paid for this interview. No, this was not a paid interview. Oprah tried to interview Meghan while she was still within the royal family, but they refused that opportunity. She just couldn't do it.
The firm probably got in her ear about that one.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like she didn't even broach the conversation with the firm or the institution. She already knew.
Yep.
And Meghan says, in the very beginning, I know a lot of people are going to be critical of Meghan, and if you're critical of Meghan, don't be scared to call in. I want to hear those thoughts too. But there are going to be a lot of people saying that Meghan, she is naive. She knew what she was marrying into. But my thing is, you don't know what you know until you know it. And
exactly.
I think when you're in that type of situation, there is no way you're going to know the impact that's going to have on you as
right. Like, I definitely think she knew she was going to be marrying into like a media circus, because that's what the royal family is.
Mm-hmm.
People are always on them constantly, but I don't think she knew all of this was going to happen.
No, I definitely don't thought she knew, or the impact that it would have on her mental health, because that was one of the biggest things and the saddest things to watch during this interview was the impact that this had on her mental health, to the point where she was suicidal and she reached out for help, and was eerily similar to what we saw on The Crown. And although in Prince Harry's interview with James Corden, he said, he's seen episodes of The Crown, some of it's, he can see some truth to it, but he really played it down. But he confirmed in this interview pretty much what everyone thinks The Crown is: a lot of facts as opposed to just fiction. What else did you ladies think?
I pretty much agree with all of that. But I think, given Harry's response to that one question Oprah asked about who was talking about the color of your baby's skin, I think it was definitely William who might have brought that up.
Really?
I think either William or the Queen. It had to be one of them.
I don't think it was the Queen.
I don't think it was the Queen. I think it was other people maybe speaking for the Queen, but I don't think it was. I'll tell you who I think it is. I think it was Prince Charles. It was either Prince Charles or Prince Philip, honestly.
Possibly. Yeah. Someone very close.
Yeah.
But they were still very cautious in how they were telling this narrative. Why do you think they were so cautious with how they were speaking about the family?
Well, definitely because, like I said, they said that the family has always been on code. So, Meghan knew that when she came in. Harry always knew that. He was brought up in it. So I'm sure he sat her down and said, look, we got to do this, but we got to do it. There's a right and a wrong way to do it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for those that didn't see the interview, one of the things that the biggest bomb that was dropped during the interview was when Meghan confirmed, it wasn't said to her, but it was said to Prince Harry, there were concerns on how dark Archie would come out. And this is even before Archie was even a thought. They were concerned about how dark skinned he would come out. Mind you, Meghan is probably so fair.
Right.
Not to say it's impossible, because look, we've seen it where genetics are very interesting. However, the fact that just even the drop of black blood was very concerning to the royal family. Look, I know that racism exists. I'm not going to sit here and act like it doesn't. But in 2021, the royal family to be playing this racist game with Meghan, I'm shocked, honestly. I'm shocked.
Yeah, and you know what else? In hindsight, I want to hear Meghan's mother's side of this story, because her demeanor during the wedding was very telling.
Because that's who Meghan's going to turn to. She can't turn to her father.
Absolutely, yeah, or her sister.
Yeah, she has no other family but her mother, because obviously everybody else has turned out to be a bunch of money-hungry jerks.
And they didn't really talk too much about the father in this situation. I'm going to have another person join us. Hi, Irene. How are you?
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
Irene, first of all, shout out to everyone in the chat room. I'm going to try and look, I'm trying to do a lot of things at one time, have a conversation and see the comments, but I appreciate everyone being here. Irene, what are your initial thoughts on this new interview with Oprah with Prince Harry and Meghan?
Okay, so my deal is that I feel that, how do I explain this? I think they're following the anarchy rules. They're not following rules of today. They're
Hmm.
literally following a script line from hundreds and hundreds of years ago, and basically that's the reason why they are the way they are. And
Yep.
I don't know if you guys noticed that
Mhm.
on the crown, they don't deny anything they have done. They deny certain things. Certain things are not done in certain ways. But did you guys remember one of the scenes? They never denied it, and it's fascinating to me because it's like when the queen's father passed away and she was getting off the plane,
Hmm.
they told the butler that went with them to Africa, you're no longer part of her escort. That guy took over, and you gotta follow
Hmm.
what I say. And the queen didn't have a say, but I want him to go. And then they told her, no, you can't have him anymore. This is it. I was I was like, is this what it is? Is this they made the rules?
Yeah.
They
Well,
made
everyone's seeing,
they're literally
when I talked about the crown on social media, specifically on TikTok, I really started speaking about Diana in her own words, and Diana pretty much confirmed everything that we saw in the crown.
Mhm.
Yep.
That and so much more.
Yep. And I literally feel that they're following rules that do not apply to what we're living out today. And
They
they're
haven't
still living
evolved.
in that. Yeah, they haven't evolved into what we are now. And I don't think they're willing to. And that's the reason why they're saying that they took the decision, like Meghan and Harry took the decision, but they don't want to say that the queen took the decision because obviously she didn't do it. It's literally she's being forced to not allow them to do this anarchy rule. They're never gonna let a mixed child into a title. I mean, that's literally what I'm feeling.
Let's talk about that. Along with the accusation about someone wondering and being concerned about Archie having darker skin, the other thing was about protection. So they, first of all, they didn't want Meghan. They felt Meghan should continue acting because they didn't want to give her any sort of perks or salary or anything like
Hmm.
that for whatever reason. And they refused to provide protection for Meghan. Mind you, she was probably the most at risk as being a black royal,
Hmm.
and they didn't want to provide protection for Archie. And technically, she got well versed on, I guess, the monarchy's laws. And one of those things is because once Prince Charles becomes king, Archie becomes a direct grandchild, and automatically he would become a prince. They didn't want to make him a prince, even though they technically could have made him a prince before once he was born. They
Right.
changed the rules for that black boy. They changed
Yeah,
the rules for him because they didn't want to provide protection for him, which is so, when you think about it, it's so metaphorical, if that's a word. It's such a metaphor for our society. And a lot of us get so caught
Yeah.
up in America's racism, we forget where it originally started from.
hmm
We forget that. And I thought that was so telling when she said they did not want to provide protection for Archie because, well, she didn't say it in so many words, but we can say it. They didn't want to provide protection for Archie because he's part black.
yep, he's part black. That's
What, what,
exactly what
what
he
were what were some of your other takeaways? Anyone?
is.
Because I have a lot of notes.
I have a lot because I'm just like I'm so shocked in so many other levels. The fact that when they came back from Australia, it
Mm,
triggered something on them, on the
mhm,
family, on Harry, on I guess William. I don't understand why is there a fight for popularity in that
mm,
family? Because it's like Jesus, come on, like nobody cannot be as popular as the queen. Like you have to be underneath her. You can't be above her. I don't
Hmm.
understand that. I'm trying to grasp it.
But for all of us that remembers the hype, I was a very young kid when Princess Diana, was, when she married Prince Charles and
Yeah.
became who she was. However, I remember everyone's fascination with her. I remember everyone's fascination after she, passed and the funeral and everything like that. They hated that. We see it in The Crown, but it was also documented. They hated that the world made her the people's princess.
Yeah, I mean, the real modernization of the monarchy was with her.
Mm-hmm. And they didn't see it coming. And I think the minute Meghan started to get a lot of press, good and bad, because you know what they say in the industry, good or bad press is good press. They knew that they had another situation on their hands in regards to Princess Diana. And damn it, it's a black girl? Oh, hell no. Oh,
they didn't want that same adoration for her because it was going to take from them.
Yeah.
And she gave up her life as she knew it to adapt to his.
Yeah. And she didn't even realize what she was getting into. And I know a lot of people are not going to believe that, but I do believe Meghan. I do believe she did not realize what she was getting into. Even if she had an inkling of what it was, even all of us have no idea what that life is.
Right.
I just want to get a couple of other people on the conversation. Raquel, how are you?
Hey guys.
Hey Raquel.
What are your thoughts? What are your initial reactions to this? For those that are just joining us, of course, I'm TheKempire, and I'm here with some amazing women. I love being surrounded by women. Happy Women in History Month.
Yes.
Yes.
Let me know your thoughts, Raquel. What are your initial reactions to this interview with Oprah, with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle?
So honestly, I wasn't shocked.
Why is that?
I really wasn't shocked because, especially after watching The Crown, and then there's another Netflix show that they have based on the royal family.
Yes.
After watching it, I was like, okay, give it to me, Meghan. I need it all. Don't half give it to me. I need everything because I already know, but I need you to say it in your own words. You know?
Do you feel like she gave it to you though in this interview?
I feel like she didn't give us everything yet. Like somebody else said in the comments, that they feel like she's saving the big like reveal or what she really wants to say for when the royal family comes out and tries to debunk everything that she's saying. I feel like that's when she's really gonna drop in and be like, okay, you want to call me a liar? Here's all the receipts. And I feel like that's when it's really gonna, okay, you know what I mean?
And I honestly think that the royal family is not going to come out directly. If anything, they're going to use the media to speak for them.
Absolutely.
Like Meghan said, and Prince Harry said, a lot of these parties that they have for the press are at the royal family's residences. So they're all in the pockets of the royal family.
Absolutely. And another, I think Shantae said it. She said, or someone said it, I don't want to say exactly, but when you guys were talking about who do you think was discussing the child's color, Archie's color, honestly, I really think it was Kate.
Wow.
And why I think it's Kate, it's the reason, if you look at her demeanor when she says, I don't want to say who it is, because if we think about,
I love when you guys go on because I'm like, I didn't even think that. But then we go back, not to interrupt you. When we go back, remember at the very top of this interview, she talks about that whole media story that Meghan made Kate cry. However, it was actually the other way around.
And we think about like how they always portray Kate as such a sweet and innocent, nice princess. And imagine if it came out that she's the one that said that. You understand what I mean? It would be a crazy storm. And
honestly, I mean, it's interesting, and I like that you brought it up. I honestly don't think it was Kate. I honestly don't think. I don't think Kate has that much power in the family to speak up like that.
I don't know, because everybody else you expected. I think everybody else I would expect Will to say, you know what I mean? I would expect it from him. I would expect it from Philip. We wouldn't be surprised. But Kate would be the most surprising person.
2021 has shown us that the racists are out there and they're loud and strong. I just want to read this comment. Simon says, everyone here in the UK knows what life as a royal is like. It's a curse. Why didn't Meghan know? Look, a lot of us don't know that are Americans. as fellow Americans, did you guys know it was a curse to be a royal before seeing the crown?
Somewhat, but the thing about it, we romanticize the royal family so much.
Mhm.
We don't, because we're not on the inside and we don't see and hear everything. Like the crown is probably as close as we'll ever get. Because like I said, they've just been so romanticized over the years, just from the fairy tale aspects of everything. Like we always look forward.
I'm over that romance.
Right. Because we always look forward to their weddings. You know, we always like to read all the juicy gossip about what the princesses are wearing. We like hearing about their tiaras and the crowns. You know, we never hear about the real inner workings. So that, you know, going back to what you were saying about them being in bed with the press, absolutely, because it's no wonder Prince Andrew is barely touched. And we know about his dirt.
Right?
And the whole Jeffrey Epstein situation, how they haven't addressed that association.
They've addressed it, but he hasn't really been served up the way his ex-wife has been.
You remember in The Crown, he's her favorite.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And look at how his ex-wife has been dragged over the years when they were married. Yeah, when they were married, when she had her affair, when she tried to sell access to him. She wasn't protected. So it's like, you know, the women that marry into that family are expendable. So I get why, I think it was Princess Anne or Princess Margaret that kind of stepped back and didn't want titles for her kids. I get it. Because she knew.
Can we talk a little bit about Fergie? Because Fergie to me is the real MVP. That's exactly what I wrote here. I say Fergie is the real MVP because she was Diana's solace while Diana was in the family. And then she was also a little bit of a solace to Meghan. During that first meeting of the Queen, she came out. She's like, "Are you guys ready?" I love Fergie. She's nutty than a.
She's real. She was laid back. You know, she was like, you know what, y'all bring it. I can take it.
she might be divorced, but remember, she's still in it. She still lives with Prince Andrew.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's still right there in the hotbed of it all.
Yeah. Her and Diana were close. Her nickname for Diana was Dutch. That's how close they were. She had a nickname for her.
You want to know what's interesting? Is that neither Harry or Meghan mentioned Camilla at all.
Yep.
At all.
See, this is why I love it. I love it.
At all. I thought I was the only one that noticed that. That's so true. They didn't even acknowledge her presence.
They don't know what it is. Her presence isn't important. But look, you guys said Kate might be the one who said the whole Archie, dark, racist situation. Maybe it was Camilla.
I don't think Meghan would have cared if it was Camilla because she's not even that important. Like she's not important. Because Camilla's not even. Yeah. Look, Camilla is princess consort. They had to put emphasis that she ain't a princess. Yeah. So yeah, you're right. She ain't that important. She's not important. They wouldn't. She would have just brushed that over her. Okay, girl, you're here. Be barely.
She's like. She's like a supporting cast member.
Yeah,
exactly.
Very unimportant. I want to add Leah. Hi, Leah. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I want to hear your thoughts, and don't let us influence what you really think. I want to hear your thoughts on this whole Prince Harry and Meghan Markle interview with Oprah.
I really feel like when you were asking about why do you believe or why do we believe that they're being so cautious with their things, I really believe it's because they're still being funded. Because recently on the Corden, the late Corden show, he was actually saying that. He was actually saying like, oh yeah, like we moved here and they're still basically paying for our living situation. So I think that's why they're being cautious.
I think, I don't know if that's necessarily true because as you saw in this interview with Oprah, he said Prince Harry was cut off. I don't think Meghan was receiving anything, if maybe just room and board, but they were cut off financially. And what Harry has been relying on, besides the new streams of income, was the inheritance that he got from Princess Diana when she died. So I don't know if Prince Charles has any influence over that inheritance, and maybe that's why there's still a connection. But I don't think the Queen is funding anything in regards to Prince Harry right now.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, I don't.
Laundry Day in the chat. First of all, shout out to everyone in the chat. If this is your first time here, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share the video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification so you don't miss out when we go live. Because I decided to go live this morning because I was like, wait, I got to talk about this. Laundry Day says this. Quick question. Why are there so many people making the assumption that Meghan is lying? I need a genuine answer with facts, not speculation. Have you spent time with a royal at all? I love this.
They feel that way because she's a Black woman. A Black woman
Yeah.
is never allowed that voice. Let's be very clear about that.
That's
the only reason. Because if it was a white woman saying it, it would have been like, oh my God, let's sympathize. If it was Kate that came out, it would have been a whole different viewpoint.
And we saw it in the British press on how different they were treated. Meghan Steele says in the chat, Tyler Perry offering them a house and security. His heart is pure gold. Tyler Perry's just, I know I've questioned the quality of his movies and his TV shows. Lord forgive me.
Me too.
He is a decent human being.
Yeah,
exactly. Tyler's not my cup of tea for other reasons, but that was very genuine of him.
I love that. Leah, I'm sorry I cut you off. More thoughts in regards to your initial reaction to this interview with Oprah between Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
I just really feel like I'm not completely opposed to Meghan, but I just feel like I know everyone's saying, oh well, she's naive, she doesn't know, but it's world renowned that there's a lot of racism within the royal family. There always has been. So, I mean, it's kind of like I can't say that I necessarily feel sorry for her or anything like that. I mostly just feel.
I appreciate. No, I love. I see. This is exactly what I wanted. I wanted people that I don't want you guys to always agree with me or the rest of the panel. Because you're not alone, Leah. There are a lot of comments that I've seen on my TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter. People saying the same exact thing. They don't believe that Meghan is as naive as she's claiming to be.
Yeah, I don't.
And you know what? Now that I think about it, there was a show that used to come on E! A long time ago, maybe about 15 years ago. I really cannot remember the name of it. And they did an episode on Harry and William, and they're like, royal commentaries, not quoting, but commenting on the type of women they were married. And I remember one lady was like, well, the ideal girl for either of them to be with would be, she basically in so many words said a white girl. I remember that now.
Yeah.
So none of this is surprising. Now that I remember that, I can't believe I forgot about that. I got to go back and remember that show.
Things that keep coming up. I just want to read this comment. We'll get 1 second, Virginia. The most disturbing thing is how white passing she is, and how our UK press has gone after her under the guise of being an American when it's her otherness.
Ooh,
come on through with that comment.
Okay.
Virginia, you got something to say?
Go ahead, Virginia.
Okay, thank you guys. Think about it though. There was a reason why back King Henry VIII, back during those days, that there was so much inbreeding. If you think about that, that's the reason why there was so much. The reason why there was so many things like hemophilia, which Victoria suffered from, her kids suffered from. There's a reason for that, because they inbred so much. That's how all the diseases and all that came about. Because they slept and married cousins, and
Yeah, because aren't the Queen and Prince Philip cousins?
Yep.
Yeah, they're like twice removed or something like that.
Right.
Look, what's some I can't. I don't want to.
They're not just in the same tree. They're on the same branch almost.
Yes. But that family tree doesn't branch very far. It's still like a little fledgling tree.
Leah,
listen, if you want a tree, you want a tree. That's nasty.
Period.
Leah, you had some additional comments that you wanted to share?
I will say I was shocked that it was actually Harry that married. I would have more so thought that it would have been William.
Why is that?
Do you remember, like, there was an article back when I want to say he was in his 20s, and he wore the Nazi
Oh,
for that.
very true.
At
Yeah.
that Halloween party,
Yes,
yeah.
Prince Harry.
And I was like, oh wow, he's racist. And I was like, oh, and he got a lot of shame and he got shunned a lot for that.
It didn't
But
last very long though.
it didn't.
It's like we've all but forgotten that because he's so celebrated and loved for marrying Meghan.
Well, you know, when I talked about the Bachelor situation on TikTok, and I was talking about, you know, interracial dating, and a lot of people, you know, there were a lot of people in the comments, you know, people that have, you know, felt, you know, that grew up with these very, they want to call it conservative, but we'll call it racist ways and racist families, and they end up falling in love with someone that's not of their same race, and then their whole perspective changes on the topic. And we see that in this interview with Prince Harry. He's learned that, okay, I can't stay in this family if my own family is not accepted. And he said in this interview, he wouldn't, if he didn't marry Meghan, he would not have left that family.
Yeah, he
He would have
stuck.
stayed blind to the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to piggyback off of Leah when she spoke about the Nazi uniform.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys remember, but like maybe a few months later, they did that trip to Africa. And you remember when he was dancing with the African girl, and he was like all around, and he was like very flirtatious with there was a beautiful black girl that he was very flirtatious with, and then that's when black women were like, oh, Prince Harry, and we forgot about the whole Nazi situation.
But you know what? He had been taking trips to Africa before that photo.
No, but
some years before that.
Specifically during that time, they made it like they made sure to get him in the camera with that particular. But I will never forget that. And I was like, dang, they trying to push this little black thing out there. And I will never forget that. And he was flirting with her. She was a beautiful blac woman.
I think
that's that British press. That's that British press code switching. I told you, they on code.
Yeah.
I think his trips to Africa really changed his perspective on the world. And I always say this to people: traveling is a whole other education that, you know, that you don't get.
It's a real education.
But that's also one of the things that connected him and Meghan is in regards to their interest in regards to giving back to the world. And they said that's what they're going to continue to do, separate from the royal family. And they really wanted to continue to give back to those charities that they were doing as Duke and Duchess.
Yeah.
I wanted to add something to that.
Of course, Irene. Go ahead.
I think Virginia was the one that said it, that they changed the narrative, the media does. And does anybody know the name of that Piers
Morgan?
Yes.
Oh girl, Piers Morgan is seething right now. He is ready for tomorrow.
I feel like he's the cheerleader of let's destroy someone because the queen told me so, or the institution told me so. Like he's literally following script of somebody to make sure that it appropriates like he's throwing very dry wood on the fire.
Yep. And that's what he does. And that's what Piers Morgan does best though.
Yes.
For ratings. He also wants to get ratings. And that's part of the reason why I made the video that I made on my TikTok, and I'll share it on Twitter and things like that. I felt it was important because when we say protect Black women, we must remember, you know, even as a people, that Meghan Markle is a Black woman. And if that wedding didn't show us that she was a black woman,
she wanted y'all to know.
Was shocked when we saw that wedding and how
she wanted us to know.
Her mother was on
and that she understands.
Yeah.
You know, not just know that she's not just saying, "Oh, I'm a Black woman." No, I understand where I come from.
Who she is definitely came out in that wedding.
And the other thing, what we learned in this interview, 3 days before their, you know, televised wedding, they actually had their own intimate ceremony with the I forgot the official title of Canterbury. So we didn't know that part. Which
that was shocking to me. I was like, "What? You were married?"
They were married before that ceremony, y'all.
Girl, they're married. They married.
But you know what?
I don't want to hear from you guys in regards to this. Meghan, you know, we think of the royal family in one way, but it really seems as if it is this institution, it is this firm, might be a mob, allegedly, because once you join that royal family, they take your passport, your driver's license. You can't just go out and do whatever you want to do. She wanted to go out and have lunches with her friends, and they said that is not going to happen. You already been in the media too much. Again, I feel like they were trying to dull her light, very much trying to prevent another Princess Diana, because that's what the media has been trying to do.
And that's what they did with Diana a lot. They would down her for the things she wore. I think she wore some leather pants one time to a concert. I remember that. They tore her apart.
I'm going to add Meghan Steele to the conversation. Hey, Meghan, how are you?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly. What are your thoughts on this interview or anything that we've been talking about?
It's very crackly on my end, so I do apologize, but I just think it was very interesting in the way that he was still protecting them, because I don't think if it was for her, we would have gotten the information that we did get.
Yeah.
Even about the comment where he didn't feel comfortable answering. And I felt like it was very brave of her, because there's so many things that they attacked her on, starting small with, I don't know if you guys remember her nail polish. She wore black nail polish and they went crazy over it.
But
she never
not to interrupt you, Meghan. I just wanted to point out, she also says that they didn't provide her with the details on what she should be doing or what she should not be wearing. They didn't give her that. She was the one teaching herself a lot of this information.
Exactly. And I felt like that was very interesting. I really do believe Kate had it obviously much different. They wanted her to fail from the beginning.
I just want to read this comment. Laundry Day says, I liked Oprah challenging Harry on being trapped. He was born into this. He would not have left it if not for Meghan and Archie. The press lies were reminiscent of Diana. The racism was the danger.
Yep.
Look.
Yep.
Meghan, what else were your thoughts on this interview?
There was just so much to really unpack. And I really think that it was Charles who is really the driving force behind all of this.
Yes, I agree. I really do. I think he's been made out to be one way in the media. And look, I do consider myself and this channel and the things that I do on here a part of the media. It's the social media. And I understand that we do perpetuate a lot of what they want us to perpetuate. And so now I'm going to take a whole new approach to the news that I'm sharing with you guys, just because based off of this, off the strength of Meghan, look, but Meghan can't do no wrong in my eyes. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it now.
Same here. Me neither.
Because I feel like she needs to be protected, because she's not being protected across the pond. Or even here, I can only tell you the comments that I've seen in regards to Meghan, and it's not legitimate comments. There are comments like, "Oh, she just wants, the fame and the money and the." I'm like, okay, how do you?
Did you see the tweet that Bethenny Frankel put out?
Okay, let me show that right now.
People came for Bethenny. Bethenny should have kept her mouth shut.
Let me share the tweet, because I'm going to go in on Bethenny, who is one of my favorite housewives. I'm just going to say that.
I never liked her.
She's always had a history of being problematic with things she says.
Okay, let me just share this tweet. This was Bethenny before the interview. This is what she said in the tweet. Crimea River, the plight of being a game show host, fairly unknown actress, to suffering in a palace with tiaras and 7-figure weddings for 2 whole years, to being a household name with Oprah on speed dial, fetching $7 million for interviews, hundreds of millions in media deals, #marry. Wow.
And Oprah said immediately, "You have not been paid by this interview." I'm like, oh my God.
Because that was
the way everybody came, but this goes back to how you protect. Everybody came and defended Meghan. And I mean, they pretty much dragged Bethenny, but people were coming out defending her. Chrishell from Selling Sunset, she really gave Bethenny the business.
She needs to be given the business. Bethenny is such a vile human being, in a sense.
And I think Bethenny dated Meghan's ex-husband too. So I'm like, you're just mad.
She did.
And see, the whole thing is too, right? And the whole thing is too, is that for her to say all those nasty things, you don't know what goes on somebody's life. You don't live their life. You don't live with them 24/7. Yes. how many times has she been scrutinized and she's been under that spotlight?
Mhm.
Well,
You know?
these are my thoughts in regards to Bethenny. As I said to you before, Bethenny, we talk about the housewives here on the channel and on my podcast. Bethenny has always been one of my favorites, and I'm not going to discount the wonderful things that she's done in regards to disaster relief. Not going to. However, when it comes to this particular station, you have not even seen the interview yet, and you're sharing these types of thoughts. You're retelling what the media wants you to say in regards to this Black woman. Not today. Not today, Bethenny. Not today.
Bethenny
but
kind
she's
of chose
also-
the wrong time to speak.
But
Yes.
Especially right now.
I like how the fact that she feels that she has tiaras, she has this, she has all this luxury, and she thinks that that's the life in the castle. That is, we are further from the truth. And then Meghan said,
And I
the
wonder
way
if she
she
watched the
explained
interview. I wonder if she watched the interview today.
that would be interesting.
Knowing,
You know she
knowing
did.
Bethenny,
She probably
didn't.
hate watched it. You know she watched it.
Yeah, on some hate, like
My thing is,
on the
it's so, like,
sideline.
how do you? First of all, you don't even know this for fact, and you're claiming all these things, and I'm just like, look, we've gotten a lot of tea on Bethenny in the last couple of weeks. I've shared some of that on my TikTok. If you don't follow me there, you can see some of the tea that we found on Bethenny in regards to her mistreatment of others. But one thing I will stand behind, even though I like Bethenny. Well, it might be past tense at this point. I liked Bethenny.
Welcome to the club.
At the end of the day, a lot of Jason Hoppy, her soon-to-be ex-husband. I feel like they're still going through a divorce. We liked him to villainize him, but you attract what you are.
Yes.
Yes, and Bethany's always been toxic. That's why I never understood why people liked her. Matter of fact, do you remember that conversation in that one
my channel? Don't shame me.
No, and that one episode of Housewives when her and Ramona were on that bridge, and Ramona was telling her, Ramona called it. Ramona knew. You can say what you want about Ramona, but she knew.
Well, you know what it is to me. A part of all this news coming out in regards to Bethenny attacking Meghan in this interview, people started to bring up her past and her using a black scent, trying to sound like a black person, and then also trying to make it the black franchise of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. They're pulling wigs and having fights and things like that. And Kenya Moore had to get her together. Like, we're not that franchise. We don't do that. And I think that's part of the reason why so many people were upset about the Monique fight on Potomac. They don't want Black women seen like that on television. But I also thought it was important as Black people for us to confirm for the world, no, we're not the only people that fight on TV. Look at New Jersey. Look at these other shows. That's not the only race that fights on TV or on this particular franchise.
Pretty much all those shows.
But they always villainize us for it. You understand what I mean? Like, we're
probably because
villain.
It's expected. I think it's expected. Exactly. Unfortunately,
and when we do take it there, because when I saw the Monique fight, I was like, no, please, Monique, don't drag her on TV. Wait till the cameras is off. You do, but please don't drag. And when I saw the hand grab, I said, it's a wrap. That's it. Done. It's the wig is gone. It's out of here.
But you know what? And this is why I love these conversations, and that's why we have to allow people to evolve. Because I'm telling you, a year or two ago, I probably would have had a different opinion on Monique's fight. I probably would have been with Wendy and all them. Oh no, we can't have Black people looking like that on television. No, we've got to get.
And unfortunately, there's a segment of us that thinks those fights are entertaining. I don't think it's entertaining. I never liked it when Nene became a bully because she wasn't always that way.
Yeah.
And I just never liked Nene. I couldn't understand why people liked her so much. And that's the thing that's so funny about Housewives fandom. Some people love to see them fight and say, that's what you get. And I'm like, but if it were you in that position, you'd feel differently.
Other takeaways from this interview, for those that are just joining us, we're talking about the Prince Harry and Meghan interview with Oprah. I just want to again give a shout out to Oprah because boss moves. She was on the top of her game. Every once in a while we're like, I don't know, Oprah's not the greatest interviewer. However,
she redeemed herself after that Finding Neverland.
She did what she had to do today.
That was classic Oprah.
And
That was classic Oprah.
let's not forget that this was a Harper production in conjunction with CBS. This wasn't just Oprah doing an interview for CBS. I just like to point that out.
Yeah, but that was classic Oprah, because she hasn't done an interview like that in a minute.
Yeah. And I like the partnerships that she's making in regards to this. You may recall also she reminded us that she's working on that mental health project with Prince Harry for Apple Plus TV as well. And I think now we can really appreciate Prince Harry getting involved in mental health because now he's talking about his own and Meghan's mental health issues. Can we talk a little bit about Meghan confirming that she was suicidal?
That took a lot to reveal. Yeah, that took a lot to reveal to a large audience.
Help. She asked for help.
Yep. And remember what I said, therapy is self-care.
That's a word right there, Shantae.
It's real self-care. And, I think it's stigmatized to the point where it's like, I don't want anybody to know this, or we call people crazy and we say this and we make jokes. Nope. It's a lot. It says a lot when you can admit that. Mm-hmm. And that you want to get ahead of it and get help. That's the best thing for anybody to do. It's the worst thing is to not do it.
Amen. And I think it was important because I know millions of people watched this interview, and I hope, and you know what, and I think this is part of the reason why the royal family is so against her in regards to the media, because the media here in the States is so much bigger than the UK, in my opinion, when it comes to the influence. I feel like the UK, and look, those that are watching it in the UK right now, you can share your thoughts in the comments or even call in. I feel like our influence in the media is like our influence in every other aspect spans, far-reaching than the UK. You guys agree with me in that regard?
Yeah, I definitely
absolutely
agree.
Yeah, I mean, aside from just the content of the interview itself, I think that's one of the good takeaways. I think she reached a lot of people tonight with that.
Yeah, and I think that was important. Do you guys think that they regret doing the interview?
No,
I don't think.
No, they wanted to because they had to get their side out.
Yeah,
all of the things that were being said, they wanted to set the record straight, and I think they did.
They were very shielded, so I feel like they because they weren't as open and they didn't have that just breast of like, okay, this is everything, we're gonna put everything on the table, and because things were slightly shielded, and I feel like they don't regret it at all because they took too many precautions.
And they shouldn't regret it.
I think if it wasn't for her being how strong as she is, he would never have done that. I think that she gives him like a lot of strength. She kept holding his arm. I just felt like she's a very loving person and really let him know that it's okay that, they tell their truth and he tells his truth.
They probably felt like they that's all they had. All they had was each other. And now they have Archie and they have to protect Archie.
And their daughter.
Their daughter. Okay, look, can we talk about that? Congratulations to Prince Harry and Meghan. They are going to have a girl. I didn't think they were going to tell us.
That was so cute how she was pushing him to tell.
Yeah.
Like, no, you tell.
No, what's so funny is that this is the first time a royal that's no longer holding title is allowed to say the sex of the baby before.
I didn't even pay attention to that.
Before the birth, yeah.
Yes. So I'm just excited that she gave it to him for him to do it, because it's like the first time. Wow. Not even Diana could have done that, and I'm pretty sure everybody's excited for it. I'm excited. I was in shock when he said it. I was like, oh my God.
I love it, and I love the fact that you pointed that out. I want to backtrack just a little bit.
I hope that little girl comes out melanated and they name her Diana.
Oh my God. Shantae, I love your pettiness.
I hope that
would
be
so
I hope that. I hope they do that. I hope that for their asses. Yep.
Can we just, speaking of petty, can we talk about, and I didn't expect this at all, Prince Charles and Harry not communicating for some time. They're communicating now. However, there was a period where they were not communicating. What were your thoughts on that reveal?
Anybody?
We know why.
I got.
Let's not act like we don't know why.
I got.
I told you it goes back to that projection that he was crushed that his son did what he couldn't do so many years ago.
Yeah,
You think that's what
exactly.
it is? I think it's because we're gonna bring it back. No offense to Princess Diana.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know they used to say that Harry is not Charles's.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was debunked. First of all, you know doggone well those royals have those babies tested.
I know. But
no, Diana has redheads in her family.
No, yeah,
so.
I know. It's just a little, But for me, I always felt like Charles doesn't know how to really project any type of love and emotion except towards Camilla. Because in his mind, his mother didn't know how to project any love towards him except for the crown. So her love was towards the crown, and he had to attach himself to the first person he felt the most comfortable with. So granted, if it was opposite where he found Diana first, it may have just been Diana. But because he found peace in Camilla, because she was opposite of what his mother really wanted, what the crown did not want.
And she also stroked his ego.
Found his,
Camilla was
and
Camilla
my great grandmother was
a
little thing anyways for the crown. So it just
and he missed out on being with who he wanted to be with, so he took it out on Diana, unfortunately, which was so unfair.
But you would think at this point in Prince Charles's life, and after his experience, and after everything that he's seen, and after everything that he's seen his two sons go through at the loss of their mother, you think that he would support his son more. You're not telling me that he doesn't have some sort of influence with the Queen, with the institution, with the firm, whatever you want to call it. I understand that there is this bigger system of, protocol, but you guys were so quick to change up protocol when it came to Archie's title and protection. How quickly they did that.
I also want to bring up the fact that I don't know if you remember, it was like a very big deal after she didn't take the picture. And she said that wasn't the case. And that fact that she went to them prior about these thoughts and these feelings, postpartum is real. They never took care of this woman, ever.
And she asked for the help. It's not like she just sat with it herself. She asked for the help and they did not provide it. You keep on referring to this as an institution or the firm. Well, anywhere else you get sued for something like that if you don't provide it. Someone's asking for it.
Yep.
But you remember when
I think suing is small time for them. Yeah, suing is small time for them. They do other stuff. They're sinister.
It's impossible to sue the crown right now because oh my God. But I do want to go back to what you were saying about Charles and Harry not speaking.
Yes.
I have a problem because I feel that Camilla is an instigator. And
she definitely wasn't the crown.
On the low, yeah.
Yes.
Camilla wasn't shit.
Wait, not even on the low. She
was on the high. I was about to say on the high key.
Yeah, high key. Because when she took Diana to that restaurant, Menage a Trois, come on now, you can't tell me that was a double entendre right there.
But that's what I'm saying. It is like we might not see it, but God dang it. It's like
Camilla wanted to study her competition.
Like literally, I feel that Camilla controls Charles to a T. And I have a feeling that she's the one that told him, do not speak to him right now because you're gonna get in trouble with the Queen. And I feel that. I don't know whether if I am like as crazy, but I have a feeling that she does that. She's that right.
I want to read this comment. Nadine says, also suing the crown means suing the government. The crown is the head of state. And I want to talk about this because I was saying this as I was watching this. So after these accusations of racism, of issues, how does the government of the United Kingdom ignore this? These are serious accusations of racism in your government. If the crown is the head of state, that's a part of government. I know a lot of people like to say, that it's more of a figurehead. No, there's actual influence that the monarchy has on the government. So how
that was very telling because I remember a part where Harry said that people in the government, people
Yes.
from the Labor Party and the other party were coming out in support of them. And
Based on
he
what
couldn't get that same
you're
support
reading.
from his family. That was also very telling.
Mm-hmm. And then, but now after they've confirmed this, I'm interested to see what the United Kingdom will do in regards to the government, because these are serious accusations. We cannot sit here and act like these accusations were just, you know, drama, a family drama. No, she said that there were racist things that were done within this family to her. There were not just racist things, there were just inhumane things. This woman's crying out for help. She's having suicidal thoughts, and you're not supporting her.
I don't know if the British government is gonna say anything, because let's be real, the Brits are pretty they're pretty tough. You know what I mean? Like, they're tough cookies. They really just let things slide off their back, and if they do, they say it with a smart remark and be like, "All right, now get over it. Okay, you went through it. It happened. All right, get over it. It's over
You
with.
know,
You're out of the house.
the
You're out of the
official
crown. Leave
statement
it
is going to,
alone."
yeah, the official statement's going to be very generic. They're going to gloss over it. It's, yeah.
I don't expect anything major. I really think they're just gonna let it roll off their backs.
Because they're already.
If we have anyone in the chat that wants to call in and that's from the UK, or, you know, knows anything about that,
I want to hear from someone from the UK, because I'm wondering.
I just want to hear the comment. I just want to hear the accent, honestly.
That investigation that they're doing it, I'm wondering if that's what they're trying to cover it up with.
I'm glad you brought that up. Let's talk about that. For those that are you know, aren't privy to this information, there were accusations that Meghan was treating the staff badly back in 2018. It was just released this week, convenient timing, that the palace was going to investigate those claims. Look, why 3 years later? I ask.
And you know what I think it might have been at that time, when she was explaining how she was feeling suicidal and she was just feeling down. It might have been that thing where she was just so, like, it just built up. So they of course they flipped it to her bullying them. No, she was crying out.
Nadine says in the chat, there's always sentiment of abolishing the monarchy too among the population. That's why the family is chummy with the press, to protect themselves. All right, Nadine. Let's see what Boris Johnson, you know, the prime minister, still thinks the British Empire should be reinstated and wishes for the heyday. Isn't he just like the Donald Trump of the UK?
Absolutely.
Look, first of all, thank all of you ladies for being here. I want to hear last minute thoughts. I'm going to start with Shantae. Last minute thoughts in regards to this whole, what was your final reaction at the end of that interview?
It needed to happen because, like I said, they've been on code and just sitting on quiet for too long. And like I said, I don't think it's going to be any real shakeup, but I think that they needed to do this. They didn't need to stay quiet for much longer, and that's that. You know, Harry stood his ground and was like, "I'm supporting my wife. I'm a man. I'm not a little boy anymore."
I love it.
And so, you know, accept it.
Meghan?
I think that it's time that we really protect women, especially in the media. You know, you see movements with even Britney Spears coming forward with mental health, and the way that they can portray it. I think it was really, really important to hear her side before it went too far and she couldn't speak. So I'm glad that they're out.
Yes, most definitely. Before we continue with the last minute thoughts, for those that are watching, thank you so much. Don't forget to like this video, share this video, and subscribe if you're not a subscriber already, so you never miss out when we go live about these important interviews and conversations. All right, okay, Leah, let me know your thoughts. What are your last minute thoughts and takeaways from this interview with Oprah between Prince Harry and Meghan?
I just feel like there was still a veil of non-transparency, and I like until there's complete transparency, it's really hard to negate who was in the wrong, or who we should feel sorry for or have that sympathy for. And I still do feel like Meghan felt like she was the exception, because she was mixed, and I feel like she feels like she was the exception, and I feel like she felt like things were going to be a lot easier, and she slowly but surely realized with a huge reality check that that's not how it was. She's still a Black woman. So
Raquel, your last minute thoughts?
I'm really proud of Meghan. I'm happy she took a stand, especially during Women's Month. Like, it's so important that she did it now. And I'm so glad that she had someone support her, because granted, she could have been another Diana, voiceless. She could have been so voiceless, and she could have just kept quiet. But the fact that Harry, even though he needed her to kind of back him, to be the backing, the fact that he said, yeah, I agree with you. I'm not going to allow you to be treated like this. I am going to take a stand for you. Because we see so many times how men just allow their families to just abuse their wives, whether emotionally, mentally, physical, whatever the case may be.
Preach.
There are a lot of men that don't stand with their wives against their family. And it's beautiful to see that he stood with his wife against the crown. That's a big step. So
Amen.
Amen. Irene, what are your last minute thoughts in regards to this interview?
I'm looking forward for the crown to change, either change or it will sink because of this interview.
I have to say, watching this interview, because I've always been fascinated. If you follow me on my social media or my TikTok, I've always been fascinated about the royal family, the crown. This has really changed and shifted my perspective on this family. Yes, there's a fantastic history there, but that history has not evolved. They have not changed. They are still have racist behavior, and I'm just going to say it. I'm tired of being the good old boy and not saying what it is. You know what I mean?
That is basically how I feel, because I thought that when Diana passed, I thought that they were going to start doing things differently, but I guess they didn't learn their lesson then. And now that they have a mixed woman, and she's strong, it's not that she's I'm not going to say that she's perfect, but she's not a bad person either. Why would you attack her? It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense.
If anything, what they learned from the Princess Diana situation, we're not going to have that situation again. We're going to make sure we mute this person. And I think they really did not get what everyone else learned from that situation. They truly didn't get it. Yeah, Virginia, what are your last minute thoughts on the interview and everything that we discussed?
I'm just happy that they told their truth. That finally, that seeing, because there's always three sides to a story, that, her story, his story, and the truth somewhere in between. But am I shocked by some of the things I heard? No, because this stuff has been going on for years. Yeah. They are still living in the Stone Ages. They're under the impression of, well, it's not broke, so we're not going to fix it. Well, yeah, the system is broke. You do need to fix it.
I mean, first of all, I just want to thank all of you, Shantae, Meghan, Leah, Raquel, Virginia, Irene. I appreciate everyone in the comments. I see you guys. I appreciate everyone being here and sharing your thoughts, even if it's different than ours. And that's what I want to encourage when we go live here, is that I want to encourage those that do not agree with me. That way we're able to maybe change our perspective or be open to just agreeing to disagree. I was truly moved by this interview in so many different ways. As you guys know, I have a podcast, TheKempire Radio. There will be links in the description. I'm going to talk more about this on the podcast because I know after I sit with this and I watch this interview again, I'm going to have more thoughts. And let's continue the conversation on Twitter. Everything is at TheKempire or TheKempire Radio. Ladies, thank you so much for being here. Be well. I appreciate you so much for being here and having this conversation with me.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
All right. Have a good week, ladies.
Take care.
All right, everyone. As I said before, don't forget to like this video, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out when we upload or when we go live. I appreciate everyone being here. Again, if you want to see some clips from the Meghan Markle and Prince Harry interview, head on over to my TikTok, TheKempire. I posted a couple of clips there and some thoughts in regards to the royal family over the last couple of years of things that I've seen and shared. So I'll see you guys very soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful night and a new week. Whew.